lights on?
Yeah.
Oh, this wasn't. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to see all these faces with the monsoon outside. I thought it was going to be like three of us. So we'll begin this morning with the ringing of three bells, and we'll let the sound and vibration invite us into this space, invite us into our bodies and everything that we are experiencing in this moment, physically, mentally, emotionally, be present with everything. Path clearing and wish fulfilling prayer to Pawo. We follow that with our refuge prayer. Dusum Sangye Guru Rinpoche Nundru Kunda Dewa Chen Poja Bache Kumsel Dudru Drakozel So Ande So Jinji Lab Tu So Chinang Sangwe Bache Jiwadang Sampalungji Drupar Jinji Lo. Precious guide, one with all the Buddhas of the three times, blissful presence and source of all spiritual accomplishments, fierce destroyer of illusion who dispels every obstruction, we pray to you for blessing, inspiration, and realization. Please remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles and spontaneously fulfill our aspirations. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. Our innate goodness. Recognize that in your seat today, this morning, right now. So as we settle down, remember, we are embracing natural body, natural breath and energy, and natural heart-mind. So embody your Buddha, your awareness, your awakened awareness. Let's take a few deep breaths, breathing into the lower belly. start with a little chanting. You can use the chanting as a point of awareness, focusing on the sensation of making and receiving sound and vibration. Chant Lama Cheno translates as calling in the Lama, but for yourself it means awakening that teacher within you. Lama Cheno, 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 Lama Allow your breath to be a touch point or an anchor throughout your practice. If you feel you're distracted, you need to come back. Watch your breath. Be aware of the sensations of that breath. And know that that breath is happening in this moment. Not that moment or that moment, but this moment. Right here, right now. Spontaneous awareness. Naturalness. Natural body. Not too tight, not too loose. Supportive, upright. Natural ease and breath, natural energy. Breathing fully, relaxing into each breath. Sitting with your natural heart mind, where you're allowing every experience. Physical, mental, emotional. Simply be aware that everything is arising and settling as we sit. Allow yourself to have the experience of being in this present moment without any expectations. Simply perceiving and releasing. Simply sitting, simply breathing, simply being. Natural ease. Padmehu. Om Mani 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 Padmehu. Om By the blessings of the Triple Gem, may the minds and hearts of all beings be attuned to the sublime Dharma. Bless us to move forward on the path of true understanding. May the way be cleared of all impediments. Bless us that the elusive vision may appear in the light of the transcendent wisdom of the Buddha. May unskillful thoughts and actions cease to arise. Bless us with the awakening of true love and compassion. May all beings realize perfect enlightenment. Part of our spiritual endeavor, we are to undertake some self-inquiry, along with all of the other things, not just self-inquiry, because we can quickly add to our task list, which we want to relax a little bit and not live from the thought of what is still left to do, but instead live in the moment of what is to do in this moment. In my self-inquiry, forgive me, I'm looking at my phone because my sister recommended this book to me this last week, and I mowed through it. It's called The Road Back to You, an Enneagram Journey to, I think, Self-Discovery. And this is by Ian Morgan Cron. If anybody wants that, I'll send it to him. But it was interesting for me. I haven't I haven't endeavored into many of the kind of selfie-helpy things in a little while for myself, because I know my past is littered with programs and thoughts, and I've spoke on it before, that I found myself trying to become something that a book told me to become, rather than noticing who I actually am. So this Enneagram is a personality type indicator, not program, but sort of a basis, I guess, for analyzing personality types. And for those who know me, I've kind of endeavored into the Myers-Briggs type indicator a long, long time ago, and it helped me to sort of discover who I was. Part of what I discovered is that I'm an introvert, and I had been treating myself as an extrovert and kept going to exhaustion, and not realizing that one of my true nature, one of my natural positions, was that of needing to chill out, needing some quiet, needing serenity, needing not so many groups. So I had to learn to balance that. Now the Enneagram, I had a former colleague that, this is going to come off judgy, but I perceived that this individual liked to use the Enneagram for manipulative purposes. And that person wanted to know what everybody's type was so that they could deal with us. So I immediately said, no. But there was like a test we could do online, and it was split. And it said I was this number and I was this number. So, oh, sorry, we can't figure out what you are because you're split. So I kind of got out of the thing because they didn't want to pay the $100 for the bigger test. So I got out of it. And anytime anyone has referred to Enneagram, I went, you've seen Myers-Briggs? It's great. And I've avoided it. My sister's recommended this book to me twice. And my sister and I have this relationship where if one of us makes a book recommendation, we kind of know it's golden. Like if one of us gets it, the other's going to get it. So it's unusual that I go, yeah, not interested. But I said, first time, not interested. And she sent it back to me this week, and she said, you really need to read this. I was going through a thing, just cranky, and I don't know what's going on, and she said, read this book. So I mowed through it. Probably, I don't know, a day. So I started reading it, and it really gives the instruction of let's read through all of these types. There's 9 types, and you'll discover yours as you go. And you might discover some of the other people around you as well. So I thought, okay, I'll do it, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, well, that kind of looks like me, and that one kind of looks like me, and they were out of order, which kind of drove me crazy. It's a thing. So I got to number 5, which was like flipping on every light in the house. And number 5 is, they call it the investigator, and it's a fear-based personality type. And the fear, the resounding fear, is scarcity. The defense for that fear of scarcity is knowledge. And I went, oh. That explains why I literally have a binder of certifications, like at least 30. And I have a house full of books. And when something goes wrong, I Google. I'm sick, I Google. I have a searing migraine, what do? Google migraines. It's interesting, though, to see my patterns and use that knowledge, as I have done with the Myers-Briggs for so long, in turning sort of the mirror to myself and realizing that awareness of my patterns, my reactions, my neuroses, awareness of it changes it. And changes it so that I have the ability to support myself, an understanding of myself, give myself compassion to begin with, have patience with myself, and use the wisdom of awareness and understanding to really sort of get past the obstacles. So although I don't always recommend reading, I like practice and then reading, and then you can practice again after you read. Because I think our practice is essential for us to really have the realization and understanding of who we are and what we are. But sometimes we need a little bit of stimulation to catch ourselves in our reactions and patterns and habits. So when we do that kind of inward look, insightful look into ourselves, that we can see our resistance to change, and our resistance to participate, or our resistance to not participate, that we can start to understand ourselves just a bit better, so that we can support and not to be judgy, or not to try to change something about our natural sort of being, but instead to understand it so that we can use it in wise action. Does that make sense? So you don't have to read this book. I'm not making it an assignment, but my point is, that self-inquiry is healthy. I would recommend staying away from things that are prescriptive, that sort of say, change your life, be a different person. I would embrace the person that you are first and see who you are. And this book actually does give 10 very healthy steps for each, or not steps, but ideas for each personality type that you can do to sort of make yourself a healthier number 5 or whatever your number is. But it was an interesting endeavor, so I'm going to open that up to conversation and questions, and your questions don't have to actually be about that. It can be about anything you're troubled with, or.
So how do you know when you take a test or you do these things, how do you know that that's helping you find out who you are, or if it's just not you fitting into what the thing says you are?
I feel like it's in my reaction. So like I kind of know, so stimulate inner teacher, lama cheno. And my reaction is, like with this, was not difference.
Yeah.
Not dread, like, that's a bunch of stuff I have to hide, or that's a bunch of stuff I have to fix. Oh, that's what I'm doing. That's where my experience is. Yeah. I like those aha moments. This practice to me has been full of, oh, there it is. Oh. Yeah. Anybody that, go ahead.
Do you ever, when you have an aha moment, is it easy for you to just enjoy the aha
I think me now appreciates it, and it takes some pressure off. Me 15 years ago, 10 years ago, way more judging.
It's tough.
And probably some despair. Like
Yeah.
I'm broken.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is the compassion for self part, right?
Right.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to get caught in that loop of, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm so stupid for not realizing that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm smart enough to have already known this.
Well, I mean, you get to the
You know-
point where you're like, it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. You're gonna have the, a realization when you have a realization because of the work that you're doing. And it wouldn't have happened any faster. And if it did, it would be a different scenario. So, it is what it is. And perfectly on time. Because you may not have understood it when you...
Well, you obviously did.
Right. Well, even if you heard it, even if I heard that 15 years ago, I wouldn't have understood it.
Right.
And I would have probably put it on a very heavy task list of other things I needed to fix. Emergency liposuction, etc.
Don't you think part of that is evolution, though? When you're young, I sort of think about when you're young, you become an introvert partially because of your lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, in this book, actually, like I was telling Todd, it kind of harkens it back to probably a condition in your childhood,
Yeah.
and it labeled it, and I went, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doggone it, Mom.
Yeah, that's what. Yep. Well, it was
We
specific.
have this idea.
It was, it was specifically talking about lack of affection, and my parents aren't super affectionate people. They love us dearly, but they're not super affectionate. And I know that, even if by her description of me as a baby, like I needed to be on her, and if I wasn't, I was screaming. So it was my grandmother or my mom had to hold me to keep me from wailing. So I've heard this terrible plane ride when I was 6 months old that my mother had to pee and she had to give me to a flight attendant, and it was just all chaos and
Gee, Ron.
yep, it's all my fault. I'll tell you just humorously that my mother went into labor with me on her 21st birthday at dinner.
Also your fault.
It's totally my fault. Totally my fault. I couldn't.
Ruined a good dinner.
But apparently she threw up. So,
So, yeah.
Funny enough, her dinner was spaghetti, which is like my favorite meal. So, Carmen. So. I find it interesting, though, to consider the karma of our understanding as well. It takes a lifetime for us to build through and kind of weed through what's useful, what's not useful. We have a lot of experience of doing things that didn't pan out that we use later on in this way, and we can go, oh, I understand why I've collected thousands of books. Like the poor people at Half Price Books, I roll in with my cart, and they're like, oh, here it comes. It's the guy with the Buddha books. Yeah. What else? Has anybody been on that endeavor? Have you tried the personality type indicators that,
My husband hates the direct test. Whereas when they give you the good job, he hates those.
oh, yeah. I liked that one just because, really because it kind of gave me a base and a secret base. That's one of the other pieces of my personality type is I'll tell you.
They ask you questions and you feel like you gotta make up a story.
Yeah.
That you don't have a story to fit with.
I get it.
If you want to be a salesman, it says you want to read a book of
You
James.
have to kind of
Definitely.
go in with
Yeah.
your story is already made up in your head, so you can kind of regroup it back and tell them what they want to know.
Yeah.
I find that kind of something. And that situation, maybe another situation.
So that might not be a good one for you.
You know,
I think it just haunts people because you always got it as an employee.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to go into it with the mindset that, it's not going to be 100%. It's not like there's only 9 personality types or only 12 personality types or 16 or, whatever course you're using. But, that it can give you some insight. I think for me, I'm an INFJ in Myers-Briggs, which means I'm introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. Which a couple of those I've not had anything.
They asked me questions like that, and I was not prepared. It's like,
You didn't study, is that what you meant?
First you think about it, you didn't know what job I was actually interviewing. It wasn't very much of an interview, so the whole thing.
I will also go on record and say that I would not be thrilled if I had to take one for a job interview.
When it's that person that's reading these questions off of his laptop, it's just like, whoa.
Oh.
At a time that you,
Oh, so you had to give a response to a human?
yeah.
Oh, no.
That's right to what animal would you be questioned.
Oh,
By the time you guys step up and take leadership and all that. This kind of job.
For a weird job.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what animal were you?
That's a common question in the insurance industry.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know the point of it.
Are
No.
some animals harder to insure than others?
I assume that's right.
Easy tiger, we're tapping up the insurance rates.
That's funny. Well, from my experience of my corporate career, I did actually have one of those zinger questions that I would throw into interviews just to see how you reacted, where I said, if I gave you one brick, what would you do with it?
Sit on it.
I've heard sit on it, stand on it, hit myself in the head because I don't have an answer for this.
Yeah, hit you with it. Stupid question. Yeah.
But you get to see people's, their reactions, and I would be the first, brick of a building to support this blah 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 blah. And you're like, you're so full of it. Yeah. So. Yeah. So I wouldn't say use it for job purposes, but in self-inquiry, when we're looking to to know a little bit more about ourselves, that we can kind of crawl in and go, oh, that's a habit that I do, and I didn't realize until this moment that, that is me. That is a habit that I do. It was an aha moment for me to realize that, that I use knowledge as a defense. It's interesting to me. Well, for a kid who grew up feeling like a dumbass. So.
I went through it myself. I don't know why. Except for my father. My father was outside of that.
Well, you have to figure out what you are. It's not hereditary, but
No, I know. Well, I wasn't hereditary, but just based on being around him.
yeah.
Heritage.
sometimes they're unnatural patterns too, and that's part of the insight, is realizing, oh, I'm not really supporting myself, I'm doing what my dad did, and I need more people around me, or I need exciting adventures, or my exciting adventures don't involve other people. It's probably a book and someplace really quiet. Karen, you were going to say something.
Just in the last couple of years, I've noticed that I've been watching myself and listening to myself make judgments on myself and my behavior, and trying to move away from the severity of the judgment and just say, okay, I made this mistake, I'll make the apology, and see if I can let go of it.
Yeah.
And often I find myself going back to it to punish myself. I don't know why, but there's a familiarity with that
Right.
behavior. So it's just interesting to hear how this is going, because I find myself judgmental of myself in horrific, sometimes horrific ways.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's come through meditation. Women have a tendency to be more judgmental of themselves, but something that I've learned is that I look at it, you hear yourself run, I look at it, I understand it, I address it, and then it's gone. I can move it.
So letting go is good.
Yeah.
Learning to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
see it for what it is, and then release it. You know, you don't have to wrestle with it. And I would dig into it a little bit and look at. For me, I know that there was a shift in my in where I was placing judgment, where I really put it on a lot of people. And when I realized I was doing that and that was not healthy, I moved all of that to me. So not diminishing it, but letting it sort of fall apart here it seems hard, because we were doing this and that, and then now it's all this. So all the judgment is going here, and we're very much less likely to put it on other people, that we're internalizing it.